Hey guys, today it's going to be sort of a random video today. I want to fix my anvil to its new stand. I want to review my anvil, just show it off. I want to make some tool holders like for my hammers and my tongs, and just a sort of random video associated with my anvil and just everything with that. So I will start with cleaning up the surface on the anvil stand, ready to get the like silicone like window caulking or whatever on it, and all bolted up, and then we can start working on some rails or racks or whatever for my hammers and tongs and stuff, and then we will look at the anvil and talk a bit about it. I will talk about it here really quick, just a little bit, just a tiny bit while it's still off the base. So let's just jump straight into it and work on the base first, get it all scuffed up so the silicone can actually adhere to it. Okay, so here is the anvil. This is just this like table or whatever that I've had my tongs and my hammers resting on for a little while. But this is my anvil. This is the 140-pound Alex steel anvil. This is my anvil. I went from a small 50-pound that I've had on a little base back there. I used that for about 6-ish months until I got this guy. Because I started with a piece of railroad track, and then I went on to that small 50-pound anvil, 30 to 50-pound. I don't really know how heavy it is. And then I made a big jump up to this guy. I got this guy at the second run of these anvils. I did not get the first run. I got the second run. And I absolutely love this guy. I love this anvil. It is soft. I have put quite a few dents in it because I practically learned on this anvil. But that's okay. One of these days when I get a milling machine or a surface grinder and move into a bigger shop and I have those tools, I will give this guy a nice clean face again. But it's still definitely flat enough to where it doesn't affect my work. Like I don't get impressions in the work if I hammer over one. They're not that deep. A couple of them are, but not very many of them. But I am very happy to have this. I have taken fairly good care of it. There is a little bit of rust in spots, just a tiny bit. But that's like where bolt holes are, or just like places where it's just difficult to reach around. But yeah, this has been a phenomenal anvil. I am very happy to have it. So I'll flip this guy over and I'll show you the bottom because it is machined. I don't know the specs on this. I think it's like a 5/8 hardy hole or something, maybe 3/4, like a inch, I think. Inch hardy hole and a 3/4 or 5/8 Pritchell hole. I guess maybe it's about 4 inches wide, and I think the overall length is around 25 inches. I don't really know the close specs, I'm just guessing, but you could probably just assume how big it is for being 140 pounds and compared to how big it is compared to me. But yeah, I really like this anvil, so I'm gonna flip it over and to show you the bottom and everything with that, because I think that is where the number stamp is, but I don't know for sure, but we'll have to flip it over anyways. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so here's the bottom. You can see that it's got picked up a little, oxide. It's not really rust. It's just some sort of like staining, I assume, from just maybe some moisture getting trapped when I silicone this down the first time on my old base. but it's all machined, as you can see. So I assume that this is parallel to the face of the anvil. I assume that. I don't know for sure. I also assume that this is the number of mine, 300 and the 309th. I assume. I don't know how many were made, but I just assume that. I don't know why that else that would be cast on there. I have a little bit of a void, but it doesn't do anything, and I don't really care. But this is the base. Just really wanted to show off this number. So anyone who knows more about these anvils than I do, like the behind the scenes of the production of them, would be awesome to know. But really, this is just another flat surface, and yeah, nicely machined, so it's nice and flat, and it will stick down very well to my base down in the corner, especially since we got that all roughed up. This should stick down quite a bit better. So okay, so you just saw me bear hug my anvil and just walk over here. So I decided, since it's cold out, I'm just gonna bolt it down for now, and when it warms up, get a warm week like I did last week, when we worked on that katana. I think then I'll put silicone down, because it'll just be bolted down. I'm not gonna like weld studs into it or anything. Since we can just unbolt it, and I have enough clearance for my hands to get underneath of the top plate, I'll just silicone it down later on, or if I can find a piece of rubber or something, but I probably won't. So I'll just silicone it down later on, throughout the couple of months or couple of weeks, just so it can actually set up and cure. And it probably won't want to, the silicone or the caulking probably doesn't want to come out of the gun. But so we can talk about my base right now, since it's on it. Still needs to be bolted down. And it isn't super flat. You can see that it wants to wiggle, but it is fairly flat. But what I did was I flipped it around, so the two legs, the two C-channel legs that were on the back of my old one, and my old one was really bad. I cut one of the legs too short, so it was tilted like this corner of the anvil was tilted down. So that's why it was moving around a lot when I was doing that forging for the katana build last week. But nevertheless, I just flipped it around and I bolted the taller leg that was in the front facing me on the side. So this is a consistent height now. And then I had a piece of bent. I got the piece at my college. It was, I think, so this is 17 and 17, and then like a 5-inch piece. So it was about maybe like 45 inches about. It probably wasn't, but around maybe 45 inches. But it was bent into an angle, and it is like a 16th inch, and I welded that to the sides of the base. So two legs are bent pieces of 16-inch steel, like sheet steel, welded up, and then I have pieces of sheet steel gapping the two, the 16th and the C-channel, and then I have a piece of 1/8-inch plate spanning the two C-channel legs. You can kind of see that right there. And then I have a plate on gapping these two legs that's about a 16th inch as well. And then I have you guys can't see it, but I have a top of a 50-gallon oil drum or fuel drum or whatever on the bottom that I have just welded up onto. And then I put my Rock Island vise, just because he doesn't have a place here on the table, and I had to cut up the vise attachment for my anvil, which I'm really sad that I had to do. But I put him down here just to add even more weight to this base. And then I took my small 50-pound anvil that was on this little cart behind me. The silicone broke on that, so I put him down here as well, because I like this height for my anvil, as you saw me doing the engraving on the tang of my sword. I really like this height because I can sit on this chair or a slightly taller chair and I can do close-up work. And it's a nice height for me to hammer on. It's, to my thumb and everything. The basic rules. And I just put those two in the vise and anvil down there because they'll be roughly protected from all of the grit and grime. Like my vise was just sitting underneath the table behind you guys. So he's going to be better protected here, and it'll be much more solid because those two are about 50 pounds. I'm going to guess maybe the stand is about 20 pounds, and obviously my 140 pounds. So this whole setup probably weighs about 200 pounds, and I'm very happy with that. And I'm very, very happy with this setup. It's obviously not perfect. My welds are not great, and I still have yet to review and talk to you about my welding setup. But this is a definite upgrade from the old base that I had, which was absolutely horrible. And I've only had that base for about a little while now. Not too long, but I'm very happy with this. So I'm going to get these bolted up. You guys don't need me watch me bolt this up. It's going to just be me doing this with wrenches in my hands. So you don't need to watch that. So I'll get this bolted up and we can test the rebound. I don't have super big bearings. I have like itty bitty little bearings, maybe like 1/2 inch bearings. Probably not even like 3/8 bearings. They're not very big. Test the rebound on this. Hammer on a little bit, just cold hammer on it. And show off the anvil a bit more, and then we can get along to building some racks and stuff, and maybe do a little bit of welding so we can talk about the welder. So let's just jump right in to doing that. Okay, so you got it all bolted up. It is, it does ring still, and hopefully the silicone will deaden that a bit more. And in my experience, obviously my bases have never been good. They've never been bolted to the ground. So I've always fought ringing with this anvil. Always fought ringing, but it'll be okay. I still plan on always wearing my earmuffs, but nevertheless, it still is a little annoying that even with this very nice and heavy base, that I'm still fighting that. But I got this little bearing. It's itty bitty. I wish I did have some bigger bearings, but and I videoed how badly the old base didn't rebound, but there's quite a bit more rebound, and I'm very happy with that. Hopefully you guys can see this. I think I might get a close-up later on, but it does bounce. It does have a nice amount of rebound, especially for how small these bearings are. But so I'll go find some steel, and I'll show off, just hammering it, show off a little bit more of what this anvil can do. Okay, so I found this piece of flat bar. I think I wanted to turn this into a sword, I think, at some point. It is just mild steel, but I think this was like one of the first projects I ever made because it has a tip on it, and it has a little bit of an edge ground onto it right here, and it has these holes in it for a handle. So I think this would be fitting to not restore, but put this project, like one of these old, not failed projects, but an old project that I made into this. I think it'd be very fitting for it. So what I want to do is, because this is so long, I want to utilize all of it. I don't want to cut it. So I'm going to use this edge, and I kind of like that. I don't want to be able to walk around my anvil and hit my knee on either, like on the rack. I'd like it to be kind of right here. I will have to reach a bit more, reach down more. But I don't really walk around there that way. I walk through to, go inside the house, but really if I extend it just, like 4 inches, I think that'll be okay. I won't be hitting it. Nothing will be in the way of it. So my plan is I want to utilize these oval holes and make it sort of like I can take it on and off. So what I want to do is I want to take these ends and I want to basically shift them down to turn it into like an L on both ends. I'll have to be really careful here. Really careful. I think I might just extend it out to here in between these two holes. And then really just, I think that's really all I have to do. And then put a bend in it somewhere. Put a bend in it, and then we'll just be able to slide in and drop it down. And maybe put some tack welds on it just so it can't just like rattle out. But I'm just going to go ahead and start working on it and see how it'll all go. See how all this will go, and sort of just let the ideas and the project just flow. Let it all flow and see how it is going to work. Okay, so I'm going handheld with this one just because the tripod really can't go low enough. So this is all, I did not show, I forged this corner out, and I did not show it, but I welded this corner that I split, but it looks really nice. It holds all of my tongs, all of my hammers, my hot cut, even though it's just a hatchet. My other hot cut can go right there, and I use this on my old anvil stand. Just took my Alex steel drift, and it goes right there, and I'm absolutely loving this. The tongs I made can go right there. These other tongs I made can go right there, even though they don't work. And I'm gonna leave my flat bit Alex steel tongs right there, just because these tongs I use basically every day I'm in the shop. Down here, this is that oil drum I talked about. I just have this little hammer down here, and like this little hammer I can leave down here, like these small little hammers, just to have them somewhere. And then here is my other drift. Then here are my chisels and punches. I still have a chisel that I made out of rebar. I don't know where it is. It's running around here somewhere, but that'll go down here, and even more space here. And then I can even have this space here for that. And obviously this is the anvil in all of its glory. I have this little swirl thing that I previously had made, and so I just bent it out to make a hook, and then I just sort of hammered it over and wedged it in here, and now I can take my brush and put it right there. And this, I really like this. I can just reach down, grab whatever hammer I want, and can go straight to work. I really, really like this. It looks very, very nice. Oh, sorry. Looks really nice. Obviously, I'm going to keep this here. Like if I'm working, I can just take stuff and do whatever here on the anvil instead of having to, sort of rummage through the hammers. But just so at the end of the day, at the end of the forging or whatever, I can just take all the hammers that I had set off here and just put them right down there. I really like this. This finally looks professional. This finally looks nice. This anvil, for how nice this anvil is, I have never done it very much justice with a nice base. And obviously this is far from the best base ever, but it's still very, very nice. I'm very happy with it. It's easily the best base of, I think, the 4 that I've made, including this one. It's easily the best. It'll probably last me quite a while until either I feel like just have that itch to just do it better, or I have the money and the time and the resources to make it even better. But for right now, this is going to be a perfect anvil stand. And I'm very happy with it, especially for what I had lying around. Very happy with this. And that's really all I have to say. So, till next time, see ya.